everyone. Today we're going to take a look at the official Forbidden Lands Foundry VTT module put together by Free League Publishing. This is, I think, the first official module for Forbidden Lands. It's not available on any other platforms. So we're just going to take a look at it. Overall, though, I think it's a really great product, and I would definitely recommend it. So yeah, we'll just take a deep dive into it. So the first thing I want to look at is in the core set you get the player's handbook and then the game master guide, as well as a series of maps. So we have the player's handbook here, and this goes into how to build a character, all of that stuff. And then just the general rules itself. So it's all broken down into folders, and then some of them also have subfolders. So we have our kin here is broken down into a subfolder, and you can just click on that and it will open it up. So we have our art in here, the text, and the layout is very similar, if not exactly the same, as the PDFs or the physical copies, if you own those. You'll notice that there are bookmarks within this. So if I'm trying to make a dwarf and I'm just reading about the kin talent, I can just click on True Grit and it will bring it up for me. So it tells me exactly what it is. Looks like actually this one may potentially be a mistake. That may actually have a bookmark on it as well. But yeah, we can click on them and it'll bring it to the pages for us. So it doesn't just like forward you to the page and then delete this page. All the pages are open. So I think that's really good. Very easy to navigate. In the past, I actually tried to upload everything to Roll20 myself by putting copy and pasting everything in. Took a long time and I didn't finish it all, but this is a lot easier. The bookmarks are really good. Yeah, and there's not too much else to say about the core books. Everything's pretty much as you would expect, and very easy to navigate. The Game Master Guide is the same, and it does include the 3 adventure sites and all of the locations. So those are, so if we'll click on the hollows and we'll go introduction, tells us our intro, exact same as what would be in the book. And it also has the numbers and then all the locations associated with that bookmarked. You can access them here as well, but the Dead Man's Hand Inn is included there. Creatures are included, etc. Yeah, so I think that's really good. And I will close that off. So the next thing we'll look at is actually the character sheet itself. And that can be found in the actors directory. So I've actually created a character here for us, just to show you what the character sheet looks like. So here's the character sheet. It's very straightforward, very easy to read. And I've actually included strength here, because in a second I will show you how to add things to the sheet themselves. We have our reputation, willpower. You'll have to manually put in your kin and profession, as well as the willpower. So say we have 5 willpower, it comes up like this. I've used 2 willpower. You just click on it and it will go down. Experience, age, etc. You can just click off the conditions as you go, so that's good. For building your character, you'll have to include, your talents. So say I was a dwarf, put True Grit in here, drag and drop it anywhere on the character sheet, and it will be included on here. So you can click this, Post Talent, and it will post into the chat here. Or you can click onto it, and yeah, I guess earlier I said this was a mistake, but I guess it's for when you actually roll it, that will pop up, so you can hit skills and it will roll, or pull it up, sorry. So I'm just going to add one additional one here. just one of the general talents. So we'll put ambidextrous in there. So you notice it says rank 1. You have to manually change the rank here. So if I go rank 2, it will change there. So you have to actually physically go into the sheet to actually change it, which is actually up. Sorry, it's actually already up. For it to show, but I can post it in the chat like this for the Game Master or other players to read. You also have your notes, so you can type in your notes. There is, your standard way to organize it in there, no big deal. Your Pride Dark Secret is in this section here, then any other distinguishing features. For gear here, we will go back to the items directory, go into gear, we'll give him a battle axe. So here's a battle axe here. So it shows up in your gear, so you can actually delete it from here. And it shows the weight and all of that. And your encumbrance is here. That's why I put in the strength as well. Here, 3. It's a very weak dwarf. But you can roll by just clicking the item. It automatically applies your strength and then any gear bonuses associated with that. You can hit roll and it will roll for you. There's a quick thing here that shows the successes and then the banes. And if I wanted to push that roll, I can just click push and it will push the last roll that you did. And you can see here that it didn't re-roll the 6. But I did get 1 bane. And the same thing would happen if I got a bane, it would not re-roll the bane. So one thing to note there. And you can do any of your other actions here as well. So if I want to make a shove action, I can just click that and it will tell me what to do. It'll prompt me to roll, and there we go. So overall, I think the character sheet is well put together for players. And we're going to look at the actors directory and look at the monsters and NPCs. So in the core book, you have your monsters here. They all have images associated with them, and I'll click on the Death Knight here. There we go. Stats are all here. Combat is here. Armor rating, movement, and then the attack chart. So not all of them have attack charts like this, but this is this one that has 6 of them. So we'll hit power attack, prompts me to make the roll. I can roll, and it gives me the roll as such. You'll notice it doesn't have push. That's because most monsters can't push. So one other thing to note, there's your armor and weapons that the enemy does have, and then the notes is just the flavor text for that particular enemy. So we'll go back to the monsters here. Everything included in the core rulebook is there. Your animals, which is just kind of your generic bears, bats, and wolves, and things like that. Those are all in there. No images, though. But you can upload images if you want. We also have NPCs. So our NPCs would just be, Iron Guards, Rust Brothers, etc. Those are in there for quick access. So you can just go humans. There's some just normal people, some general ones, especially if you're going to be doing random encounters or making something on the fly. This is really good. So the bandits, that's all in there. You can kind of pick one. It has all of the options in there, but you can just pick one of them. Again, it's very similar. It's basically exactly the same as a standard player character sheet. So I'll close off the NPCs. The next one is the adventure sites. So with the 3 adventure sites, they've actually broken down which characters are there. So if we go to the Hollows, it has all of the characters here. that are included, and you can click on them, and you would have your stats, what equipment they have, and any notes they have. A militia guard probably wouldn't have anything, but Miss Polmore would have some notes associated with her. And I like how it's broken down, so you don't have to go into just go in NPCs and then try to find Miss Polmore. It's actually broken down into the 3 adventure sites. I like that a lot. And then we also have the random encounters. So if you happen to roll a random encounter that has characters, monsters, etc. associated with it, is there. So we have our soldiers and our Minotaur here. So those are there for you, which I think is quite good. And then the other thing, similar to the character sheet, is the Stronghold Keep, or the Stronghold sheet. So I wrote up Terror Keep as an example, and I've added in a few items. So I'll actually go to items directory, and we can go to Stronghold in the items directory, go to buildings, and we can just drag and drop it. Same thing, we add a fireplace to it, everything's good. And same with the hirelings, you can do that as well, and it will include that. So I've actually already messed around with this a bit, so that's why there's 2 of those, but do a guard, pops up, the salary is included. And if we go to buildings, it does have the defense rating of your stronghold here, but when you drag and drop a item in from the gear or the folder here, it doesn't automatically apply it. So with the guard tower, that gives us a +1 rating to our stronghold for defense, but it didn't automatically apply it. So that's one thing to note as well. And then again, note section here for the players to keep any notes, and they can add any images they want to with that. And in the player's handbook, there is actually an art section. So there's a strangling vine. So they can, if the players wanted to find something that was in one of the core books, they could. And that's actually available here at the bottom. This is the Foundry's link, basically, within your files where that art image is. So you can pull it up. I can browse the file and find it. So that's another thing just to note. The next one will go to the adventure sites and the maps that are included in this set. So the core game here, this is the landing page, of course, and that's found in maps. We also have the map of the Ravenland and a kin map of Ravenland. So I have loaded up the Forbidden Lands map here. And again, I was just messing around with this earlier, so I'll just delete those. But here's the map itself. Very good quality, and the text is very readable, which is really good. So the hexes are included there, and if you own the physical copy of this, you'll be familiar with the stickers as well. And these stickers are included. And we can click on this, and we can move that to a hex on the map where we want. And you can copy and paste those as well to add more if you happen to want that same token somewhere else. I think that's a really good one. The tombstones for any characters that may have died along the way. Yeah, so I think that map is really good, and the players will be using this quite a bit as they traverse the Ravenland. The other one is the kin map. This is the black and white version, and I quite like this for when you're creating your character to kind of get an idea of where each kin is located within the map, or most commonly found. So you can kind of see the Saurians are more in the marshy areas, with the Alderlanders here, Goblins, Wolfkin, etc. So that's a good map. But the real maps I wanted to look at were the adventure sites that were included. So let's go to the hollows here. So first thing to note is it's not the black and white version that's found within the core set PDF / physical copies. Personally, I prefer the black and white versions, but I can just download the black and white versions from the Free League website. They're available as a free download. And I actually did this video once before saying that there was no numbers associated with this. But there actually is. If you click on journal notes, every location is actually bookmarked. And this is an amazing feature. So I can just click on the Dead Man's Hands In, double click on it, and it brings me to the information for that particular location. I think that's such a good feature. And I can do the same thing. The bridge gives me a little bit of flavor text and that information on there. And if we go to the, I want to see journal directory, game master guide, the hollows, locations, all those locations are there. And if we go into introduction, it has all the locations here as well. They have numbers on them. So if you had the physical copy, there would be numbers on there. But these are all bookmarked as well, so same thing. So yeah, I think this is a really good feature, and I missed it the first time. So make sure you click on the journal notes that are actually included on this so that you can bring up the information. So that's good. Same thing with all of the other ones. So I'll just bring up the Veil of the Dead, for example. Same thing. The journal notes are available there, and maps are also good quality. And I can just double click on it. Gives me the flavor text, all the information I need, tables, etc. And speaking of tables, we'll actually talk about the rollable tables that are actually included. Here, I'll bring it back to this page. The rollable tables that are included in this module. So the critical injury table is a big one that you'll probably be using quite a bit, as well as the mishap table for fishing or foraging, etc. So let's click on the critical table for slash runes. So I'll go here, and all the options are here. You'll notice it doesn't really have too much information, but if we hit the roll button, it's automatically rolling for us, and it'll pop up here. So a severed ear, perfect. So I can click on that, brings up the information, -1 to scouting. The healing time is 1d6 days. And if I had, I'll pull up Oswin's character sheet here. I can just drag and drop this into his sheet, go into combat, and boom, my severed ear is on there. Let's see if I can click post item. Healing time is 3 days, so it automatically rolls me that 1d6. And then he just has to keep, whoever, like Oswin has to keep track of this on their own. There's no section here that says days to heal, which is one small thing to note, but not a big deal. You can just put it on right in here, time left. Actually, let's see if I go 3 days, if it shows up there. Yeah, it doesn't show up there, so you just have to manually keep track of it, but again, not a huge deal. But I do like that you can just drag and drop it, and then you can just click on it to roll the healing time. So if we go to the other rollable tables here, we have our mishap tables, we have our random encounter tables, and our treasure tables. So I'm going to pull up the treasure tables. We'll go simple finds in a layer. I'll roll it, and it gives me a saw, and it automatically rolls the value. So you can't drag and drop the saw into the character sheet, which again is not a huge deal, but you just have the characters will just have to manually put that in, and even if it's coins, you can't drag and drop it. But in most cases, the party would be splitting the coins between them anyways. So just another, not a huge deal. But I'm going to pull up one of these encounter charts. Let's see if we can do a lake. No encounter. I'm just going to roll it a few times to get an encounter, just to show you what happens. Here you go. The Trader of Souls. So I can click on this, and it brings me to the encounter, which is really good. It gives me all the information, and it's good for DMs or GMs who like to go on the fly with this. But one of the things I did notice was in the rollable tables, there isn't a rollable table for creating your own dungeons or legends. So if we go to the Game Master Guide here, and we go to Adventure Sites, and we go to Dungeons, we have all of this here, all of these tables to creating a dungeon. And I would have liked to see that in the rollable tables, and it may be implemented later, but there are some good fan-made websites that have actually used these tables to create legends and the history behind those places. So you could use that instead of having it included. But hopefully they do add it later on. And then the last thing I want to talk about that was a bit of a surprise was actually the audio. They have included 12 original pieces of music. I can't actually show you I can't record the sounds, unfortunately, but we have the Forbidden Lands music. That's an ambient sort of soundtrack, and then we also have the Blood in the Mist, I think it is, and that's like a battle music. So there's battle music and ambient sounds that you can loop, and I have listened to a few of them, and they're actually very good quality. I usually use Discord and for chat, and then I just use a bot to play music from YouTube. But it's kind of hard when you're playing the game to go onto YouTube and then find the music you want and then play it on Discord. So this is actually a lot easier, and I'm going to make a lot of use out of this. So I'm very happy that they included that. Yeah, it was just sort of a surprise that they even included it, and I really like that idea. But overall, I think that the module itself is very well put together, and I would highly recommend it to anybody. Actually, speaking of this, I'm just going to do one last thing here because I accidentally clicked on the combat tracker, and this is actually important to note. If we go to the combat tracker, in the regular game, you would normally play or use, I think we were playing in person, a deck of, I think it's 10 cards, and players just select a card from the deck to roll for initiative. It's not like in Dungeons & Dragons, where it's like a d20 plus your dex modifier. You would pick a card, and in this, they don't really have that. So if I'm Oswin, I will go to my character token, drag it to the map, and then I would click on it, and I would click Toggle Combat State, and that brings me up into the initiative tracker, and I roll the initiative, and it's just a d10. And personally, I've been using this on Roll20 when I've been playing, but I've been using a d20, and it just makes things a lot easier. So that's one last final thing that people interested in it may want to know. So yeah, overall, I think that the module itself is well put together. Definitely recommend it, and right now it's on for like 60% off, a really good deal. So I definitely recommend picking it up. And in a following video, I'll take a look at the Bitter Reach and the Raven's Purge modules as well, for those interested in that, as there are just add-ons to this as well. So thanks for watching, and I hope you hit it with a thumbs up.